Hello and good evening, everyone. Good morning, and in some places, good afternoon. Welcome to Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And indeed, we do have a bunch of friends with us that you know and love that have been on this show, that have been on other shows. And we can't wait to get into these topics. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to support Double Barrel Gaming with your views, with your live views more specifically. And we're going to have a great show. We have two monster topics. The first one of the evening is going to be the leaked Sony state of play that a lot of people, including myself, find to be extremely underwhelming. No God of War, no Twisted Metal, no first-party games at all. And we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to follow that up with, because again, it's the first salvo of June, right? It's gaming season. We know that this is normally called E3 week, but it's not E3 anymore because E3 is pretty much dead. We're going to talk about Microsoft afterwards. This is going to be the prediction show. Those prediction shows that you're waiting for, that we're going to, give our wild and crazy and wacky hopes and dreams. It's going to be all next week on just about every show that I do here on Double Barrel Gaming, so you can get the perspective of everyone that's on the panel. No, we're going to be talking about what Microsoft actually needs to do, knowing that this is what Sony is going to present to open up the games week. And more importantly, what they actually have to do to garner goodwill from the community. And again, listen, no one's throwing Microsoft under the bus. They're not dead. They're not packing the bags up and sending Phil to a resort. They haven't had a bunch of great weeks, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the truth. But that doesn't mean that it's all gloom and doom. It just means that what I want to hear from the community, I want to hear from the panel members on what exactly you want to see Microsoft do with this show. Last year's show, 10 out of 10, 30 games. Do they bring more games? Do they bring more AAA first-party games? Do they make an 11 out of 10 show? Well, I sure hope so. But before we get into all of that conversation, let's welcome in the panel. And we're going to start first with someone that you've seen on multiple podcasts. He's doing us a huge favor by being here today because Everborn Saga's got some family stuff going on. Wandering Dutch is going to be traveling, so he's not going to be able to be here this week. He'll be back next week. Zemi Games, my brother, how are you, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm just trying to stay busy, trying to play some games, and super excited to be on the show, man, as always.
Well, listen, it's great to have you here, and I know you're going to have some big opinions on what you hope at least Bethesda brings to the table on June 12th. Que Asante, your office is looking more and more stout, like it did before the construction zone. How are you, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for the another great Wednesday. We're gonna have a great conversation, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yes, my office is less construction these days, but that just the parts you can see. The parts you can't see is still terrible, absolutely terrible. But I'm here for it. Let's go. This is going to be a good night.
I definitely appreciate that. And of course, the best voice in the business, Crispy Bomb, newest member to Primetime Gaming. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Boom, stop the count, man. Stop the count. Series S is not a console. It is not a next-gen console.
That is correct.
My God.
Agreed.
Let's all agree on this and understand that there's no way, shape, or form a $300 console is a next-gen console. My God, people, get your head out of your you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into it, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of mention a little bit of that. That's right. There is a running theme, narrative, whatever you want to call it, that the Series S basically barely plays 1080p games. Why is it considered next generation? Why does it count against PlayStation 5 numbers? This is outrageous behavior. We'll kind of talk about that in a hot second. And of course, Mag, what's going on, brother? Listen, just out of curiosity, first of all, how are you, and what games are you actually looking forward to at this year's showcase?
Well, I gotta tell you something. First of all, it's great to be here, and it's great to see Zemi Games back in the realm here tonight, and of course, Crispy and Que Asante. Que Asante, I gotta tell you one thing quickly: your shelves are just the like I have dreams about shelves like that. Like I am such an OCD guy. So like I go to bed and like some people dream about like women in bikinis or whatever the hell you want. I'm dreaming about clean shelves with nice straight lines and everything is
love it.
perfect. I
Yes.
love that stuff. Anyways, I absolutely love what you
Appreciate
did
it,
with the
sir.
room.
Appreciate
Oh
it.
man,
Thank
and
you.
even the supplemental photos you sent after of the other shelf, I was just like, oh my god, like that's porn to me. So like that's the way I look at things, right? So anyways,
Pause.
I love it. But to answer your question, Boom, I got to tell you, we got a big show. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of showcases. But the one game that I got a lot of traffic on it on one of my tweets about. I got to thank Everborn for bringing it up and exposing me to it. The My Little Pony fighting game has got to be my most anticipated game that I want to see at this showcase this year.
Well, you know what, Mag? If your little pony is getting a little too hairy, time for ManScaped. That's right, folks. ManScaped for all of your grooming needs. Looking for a little tail this weekend? Well, ManScaped will smooth things over and have the ladies stomping on those hooves all night long. So why don't you tell us, Mag, about some of the great products that manscaped.com offers?
Well, let me tell you something. If you're going to be grazing in anybody's field, you know that it's going to have to be manicured or manscaped, as it were. And that, you know what? There's no other product that can do that but then the Lawnmower 4.0 with skin-safe technology. Guys, go check it out. It's absolutely amazing. You got to check out also, on top of that, why accessorize your little pony when you can get the Manscaped boxers that have, of course, the jewel pouch that holds your accessories nice and snug for you all day long and all night long. And guys, go check it out and type in the promo. I believe it is DBG20 in the actual, into the order form, and you get how much, Boom?
You get 20% off.
20% off.
That's right. And free shipping for your entire order.
Guys, you got to check out the stuff. And let me tell you something. Ever since we started talking about Manscaped, you know how everybody's listening to us, right? You know, the Xbox Connect is listening to us. Well, everything else is too. So guess what? Manscaped has been showing up on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on of course, Twitter. And I got to tell you, the products are top notch. And not only they're top notch, they are amazing quality. So guys, please go check it out. Go get your discount. Go get your free shipping. You're not going to regret it. Check it out. Boom. Let's get into this show.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to thank manscaped.com for sponsoring Double Barrel Gaming for an entire month. Four original topics. And folks, just to give you the heads up, hats off to, of course, Mag, who wrote every one of these scripts himself. These are all self-written by him, and I could not have done these commercials without him. And a big thank you to Manscaped for trusting Double Barrel Gaming and trusting Mag and I to sell their product. And obviously, if you want to, check out their stuff, you go to manscaped.com, and if you want to save 20%, you type in the code DBG20 at checkout and you will save 20% and of course get free shipping. But let's get into, of course, what we're here to talk about, and that is games. Now, ladies and gentlemen, late last week it was announced that Sony's State of Play was coming for June 2nd. Now, this was surprising for a lot of people because, well, we know that Microsoft has announced that they're doing their big Bethesda Xbox show on the 12th. So we all assumed, and again, don't make an ass out of you and me, that Sony would somehow respond with their own E3 level show. And well, it's not an E3 level show. It is just a 30-minute State of Play that is going to be showing off a bunch of third-party partner games. Now, Shu, obviously, who is well represented and known within the gaming industry for Sony, already came out and said, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. It's third-party partners. Don't expect any first-party stuff. And yeah, that's a big disappointment for a lot of people, including myself, who thought that the first salvo out of any Sony show this close to an E3 level week, you would have guessed or thought anyway that it was going to be God of War Ragnarok, which is slated for later this year. Now, that's still not confirmed. We have heard from the art director of Sony Santa Monica, who basically put the rubber stamp on, yeah, it's coming out this year. but we still don't know. And I would imagine that at some point, maybe, and again, this is just speculation, folks, we see a show from Sony, a proper E3 type of show, maybe in June. Maybe we get God of War at the Keeleys. Who knows? That's which, of course, Jeff Keighley's show is happening on the 9th of June. So I have this leak list. Now, okay, we got to take this with a grain of salt. Sony did not respond for comments regarding the leak list. I'm going to read you verbatim what's on here, and I'm going to get the opinion of the panel, but I want to get opinion of the chat more specifically. And this is what they have listed here, folks. They have the first game out of the when the show starts, which will run for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. It's called Project Destructive, and it's an announcement trailer. Then we're going to see for about 2.5 minutes, follow that by that game called Stray, about the cat, which actually kind of looks cool, to be honest with you. Then for about 2.5 minutes, from 4:22 to 6:57, we're going to see Street Fighter 6, folks. It's the first actual gameplay trailer for Street Fighter 6, and this brings up a lot of potential hurt feelings for folks like myself who have been dying to play Street Fighter on the Xbox. We didn't get a chance with Street Fighter 5. Obviously I had to buy it for the PlayStation 4 at the time. This could very well be an exclusive. If it is, I think it's kind of sucks, to be honest with you, and I'm going to buy it because, well, I got to play Street Fighter. But I'm wondering if maybe it's timed, maybe it's not. Capcom, if you didn't know, folks, made more money in their last quarter than they've had in years. In fact, they made so much money that they're giving their employees a 25% increase in salary. So I don't really think they need to take deals from Sony like they did with Street Fighter 5, but we will see. Shown right after that is called Project Eve. It's a trailer. And then we're going to get a story trailer for Spoken. And Little Devil Inside is following that. That's going to be a gameplay trailer. Tachi, which I don't know what it is, but there is going to be a story trailer after that. Then they're going to show PlayStation VR 2, and it's going to be an overview of the unit. It's not coming out this year. They're saying potentially, and again, this is just rumors, early or mid 2023. But with this chip shortage, that's kind of up in the air. And then this is where it kind of goes into VR overdrive. They're going to show Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 plus PlayStation VR 2.0. Resident Evil Village, it's a DLC called Last Hope. And that's going to be an update. Plus, they're going to show the PlayStation VR version of that. Then they have Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. That's also going to have not only the standard game, but a VR mode for PlayStation VR 2. Then they have Dominion. It's for PlayStation. That might be an exclusive by them. That's PlayStation VR. And then they're going to close out the show with a teaser trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is scheduled to release in 2023. Now, let's get into what the folks what the folks on the panel are saying, what the people in the chat are saying. Okay, so I'm going to start with Zemi. Zemi, you have a PlayStation 5, obviously, right?
Well, I used to.
Oh, okay, so you don't
saw it last holiday. Yeah.
all right, listen,
I wasn't playing it.
I hear you, and you probably made good money. You probably made your money back. Listen, yeah. I hear you. Here's my question. June is normally known as E3 month, right? It's games. It's Christmas in June for gamers. It's always been known that. It's probably always going to be known as E3 week, even though E3 doesn't exist anymore. We know we have a big Keeley event, and he doesn't usually disappoint. So the last couple of summer game fests, it's not so great, but he's I expect him to deliver this year. A lot of stuff to talk about. My question to you is that this to me, and again, this is not being a fanboy. This is as a fan, because I have a PlayStation 5 and I quite enjoy it. I only play it for their first party, but whatever. To me, the opening salvo for what is known as E3 week, this to me seems like a little bit of weak sauce, if in fact it is true. No first party. We understand that the Keeleys is 7 days after that, and I'm sure that there's going to be something big. Jeff usually, hypes up Sony stuff, and that's great. That's awesome. This to me is a little underwhelming. The Street Fighter 6 thing I'm interested in, but I'm more interested to learn if this is going to be announced as a Sony exclusive, or it's going to just eventually leak out that it's coming on X a date, whatever, in 2023, and it's coming for all consoles and PC. Resident Evil 4 remake, super excited for that, because let's face it, Resident Evil 2 remake was a masterpiece. Resident Evil 3 remake was really, really good. And 4, for many people, is the pinnacle in the series. It really did, put that over-the-shoulder camera, and it brought us to a Resident Evil that we never experienced before, especially, because it had the fixed cameras and stuff. Looking at the list, what are your feelings that this is what Sony's wares are going to be to open up Games Week for 2022?
I think it's a really strong, list of games, honestly. I think a lot of the times we as gamers, we get, a little bit more distracted by first party than we maybe ought to. Third party games are still big, right? As a gamer, I'm just about games, right? I just want to play games, and it doesn't matter to me the least bit if they're first party or third party. And PlayStation's show here has a lot that they're showing me that I am most certainly really, really excited for. For instance, Modern Warfare 2, right? I can't wait to get my eyes on that game again and see what all of that is about. Absolutely love the first one. Street Fighter 6, of course, is a big one. We still don't know if that's exclusive, timed exclusive, or if it's coming, it's everywhere. Forspoken is probably the game that I'm most disappointed in myself of just, of selling my PS5 like around last holiday over, because I'm really, really excited for that game. But I'll probably pick up another, PlayStation later on this year, or maybe early next year. So I'm not really too worried about it. There's been a lot of excitement over this Avatar game. There really has. And so, to have that, on their showcase, I think is really, really powerful. PlayStation VR, tons of people, not, trillions of people, but, a good number of people are really excited about.
Oh, I'm definitely getting PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
I have one, so I'm definitely going to get 2 when it comes out.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think it's going to be a really, really good show. Of course, they have a bunch of other things, and it's just primarily third party, but I think it really is going to be a very, very good show. The only thing that bothers me is that Hogwarts Legacy is not on this list, right? Which definitely leads me to think that there is going to be another PlayStation showcase at, sometime later on after June 2nd. Because that's kind of what they did with the last Hogwarts Legacy, 14-minute showcase. They had their big, little PlayStation showcase. And then I think it was a week or two after that, they announced and did, a Hogwarts Legacy version of like a PlayStation showcase, right? So
Yeah.
that to me, that was shocking not seeing it on the list, because that is easily the game that I want to see the most. That's like my most anticipated game leading into this holiday. But I do think that we will see that here in the coming months. It's just, unfortunately not going to be at this show. Another thing I also wanted to kind of mention is that this I think that this list is relatively, it seems to be legitimate. However, I will say that it does say version 2 on the paper that the picture is taken of, showing the list of all the games and the timestamps of like when they're going to appear in the showcase, but there's not actually a date of when this list was finalized. So for all that we know, this version 2 could have been created 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and they've already created a version 3 and a version 4, right? So that definitely kind of, I think, attacks the validity of this list a little bit. But as you said, it's just a leak. It's not
Right.
really,
Take it with a
verified or
complete grain
anything.
of salt. Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I mean, do I think it's a terrible showcase? No, I don't. I don't. I think the Avatar game that they have the marketing rights for is, that's a multiplat. That's a Ubisoft game that's going to be releasing everywhere. Obviously, people who play on Xbox will buy it there. People who play on Sony will play it there. The fact that it's getting a free VR, which for Sony's, one of the good points of Sony that they have done in the past is a lot of the games that they did have that were third party had some sort of PlayStation VR additive for the price of free. You know, obviously, if you remember Resident Evil 7, well, you had the kitchen demo, which was on PlayStation VR, which was terrifying. Zemi, you would have died. I can tell you that right now. And Resident Evil 7 in VR was quite frightening. It was I only got like maybe 3 or 4 hours into it, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna play this traditionally because I want to live and I want to enjoy my pension. So yeah, I mean, listen, the Street Fighter 6 thing for me is the most interesting because I'm an old school cat. I used to go to Nathan's Arcade and throw my quarter up and wait in a line to play Street Fighter 2 when it first released. So I've been a Street Fighter fan ever since. I'm not going to lie, will be semi-disappointed if it is announced as an exclusive. And there's a good shot that it is. I mean, we have heard from Special Nick, who thinks that it is going to be exclusive. We don't know. Again, times are different. When that deal with PlayStation locked up Street Fighter 5, it's because a lot of people didn't know this. Capcom was on the ropes of bankruptcy. That was in 2016. And they made that deal, and you know the rest is history. The Capcom is a much stronger company. They're doing very well, so much so that they're going to give their employees a raise. So I don't know if they need a PlayStation deal, but again, it is only time is going to tell. Real quick, before I let you go, Drawn TJ drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Hey guys, hey Mag, thank you so much for that, Drawn TJ." I want to shout out Lady Foxfire in the chat, darling. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting it up with us in the chat. And we also had another super chat come in from. Okay, hold on a sec here. Daniel McGee, who actually made his first appearance on any of my shows yesterday on the Xbox Factor podcast. He says this after dropping a $5 super chat. That list is sad as an E3 show, but better than most state of plays. Hope that they have another show this summer. I think the rumor is that they're going to have one in July. So, but again, that is just, only time is going to tell with that one. I want to bring you in on this. You obviously, you have a PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, you have a digital PlayStation 5, and you get clobbered every time you decide to buy a game, which is terrible. My question to you is, a lot of people are, I'm looking at the chat here, and a lot of people are like, a lot of remakes are in this. Not a big fan of that.
Right.
For you, considering that this is literally the first show of what is known as E3 week, are you disappointed with this list? And again, it's just a leaked list that could be totally false. But what we have in front of us, are you interested?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I want to address some guys in the chat. Guys, calm down. We know it's fake. Okay, like there's a lot of people saying that it's fake, this and that. They're like losing their minds, like ripping their hair out. It's like it's fake.
Don't pull your hair out, guys. Listen, you don't want to be like Mag. You don't want to be like. Well,
you want to be like me, but just not bald. But anyways, here's the thing. Okay. There's. I don't believe that this list is real. Now that's fine, but here's the thing that I'd like to pose though. What else could it possibly be? Because there's only X amount of third-party games coming within this year, within the next 8 months, right? So even if this list is 100% fake, just by process of elimination, it can't be that far off, okay, guys? Because we know that Resident Evil Village had the marketing rights with Sony, right? So they've already said that DLC is coming. Where in Christ's name do you think they're going to advertise the DLC? Would be on the Sony State of Play show, which they have expressly said it's going to be third-party only, and PSVR 2, maybe like a little sneak peek into what PSVR 2.
Yeah, it's going to be like an overview of what the unit looks like, and
we don't even know when it's coming out. They haven't even nailed a date down or anything like that or whatever.
I've
heard like, hey.
Or
the price is going to be the big talking point. I'm telling you, that price is going to show up in let me tell you something, that price is going to show up in a lot of our conversations in the next like 8 months. Anyway, there's a rumor that it could be within the next 8 months. So you're looking at like probably early to mid 2023 that they start releasing that hardware. Now, that's why I would say I don't think they're going to be doing any deep dives on games, especially if it's not coming anytime soon. But like we were saying, Boom, I see an overview. Now, in that respect, let me just get in the PSVR and then I'll go into the other game stuff. What I could see them showing again is maybe like a little bit of a deeper dive of the Horizon for the Horizon game. I don't even know what the hell you want to call it. Is it just called the Horizon series now? Like the Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn?
I guess it's the Horizon series.
So, guys, we'll call it the Horizon series because there is that Horizon. Remember they showed that little clip of the Horizon PSVR, and it showed like the giant, like whatever it was, the giraffe thing, and then they're on the boat and stuff. So they may show a little bit deeper dive into that Horizon PSVR. I could see the Resident Evil Village.
Quick, you mean Horizon Call of the Mountain, and that has
is that
been
what it's
confirmed.
Called?
Yes, it's called Call of the Mountain, and that has already been confirmed by PlayStation as being at the show.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Shish kebab. I didn't know that. Okay, well, there you go. Well, there it is. So that's been confirmed. So that's what I expect to see. I expect to see something from Resident Evil Village, maybe in the VR space. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because the mag doesn't know everything. But did I hear rumblings, or maybe I was drinking too much? Did I hear rumblings that Modern Warfare 2 was going to have some kind of a PSVR aspect to it?
Mm-hmm. That's what again.
Rumored.
Rumored.
Okay, so there has been rumblings. That would be absolute fire.
Yeah.
If they could pull that off, and then they could show like even just a snippet at the show, seeing that they got the marketing rights and the game is coming out in October, why the hell wouldn't you show some version of a? You're going to sell PSVRs just for that, because people will clamor. I'm going to buy. Well, first of all, I'm going to buy a PSVR 2 anyway. But the thing is, I would buy it. If I was on the fence, I would buy it just for that. To play Modern Warfare 2, or at least an aspect of Modern Warfare 2 on a PSVR headset,
that would be dope.
Astonishing to me. Like, can you imagine all of us getting in there, right? And our avatars running around, we're doing stuff and shooting. That would be magnificent. So I think that should be the centerpiece of what they're going to be showing at this showcase, because in terms of the PSVR 2, because let's face it, the number one selling game of the year is not going to be Elden Ring. The number one game of the year is not going to be Elden Ring. It's going to be Modern Warfare 2. It's going to be the biggest seller. It's going to be the biggest hit. It's going to be the biggest game. God of War Ragnarok, even Starfield, if it was coming out, which it's not, they wouldn't even stand a chance. Okay, Modern Warfare 2 is going to curb stomp everything this year. That's
it's that particular Modern Warfare 2 is a legacy title, right? And they're remaking it in a new engine, and it's supposed to be the most improved Call of Duty game in the history of the franchise.
Well, didn't they do that with Modern Warfare 1, the 2019 one? Remember that? They used a new engine and all that stuff.
I got every achievement but one on that.
You know what's funny? So did I. I missed one achievement on that too. Bothered me. But anyways, what I also see, Zemi brought it up. They've got a big tie-in with Hogwarts Legacy. And now I saw that little article that they put out there about the little feature, not little, they're magnificent features that they put out for the DualSense 5 for that game. I think that's something that they should show. I mean, it only takes a couple of minutes to show how cool it is. Like, it just shows like, with the haptic feedback and the different triggers and all that kind of stuff, like doing certain spells, and different kinds of spells will react differently with the controller. The sound, 3D spatial sound is going to be coming out of the controller. The controller is going to glow the house colors of whatever the Sorting Hat gave you. That I will buy it on the PS5 just for that. So this is the thing.
We're also waiting for a release date.
Yes, that's also true too.
We still don't have a confirmed release date.
It's got to be coming though. It's got to be coming. I mean, if Sony's
I would
doing
imagine
little
maybe
snippets,
October seems like a good month.
I think it'd be a great month for that. Right around Halloween would be good.
Mm-hmm.
But now here's the thing. What I could see at this show, now I'm going to go into like the Japanese, support, right? You're looking at Capcom, you're looking at Square. I could see Street Fighter 6 making an appearance there. I do not think it's going to be exclusive. I think it's going to be multi-platform. Again, I think we're going to see that Resident Evil Village DLC. I could see maybe the Resident Evil 4 remake. I could see there from Square. No one's mentioned Final Fantasy. That could be making an appearance. Maybe they'll do a snippet at the very, very end, just riding off of the hype of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why not do a little snippet right at the end of the show, maybe 20 seconds long for KOTOR?
Knights of the Old Republic, maybe.
Just to say, hey, guys, KOTOR's coming 2023. Just a quick little something to get people hyped, like that sizzle reel, right? Sony is great at those sizzle reels. You got to give them that. Now, the one thing that I'm finding interesting is that, just like what I was mentioning about the Hogwarts Legacy before I pass off the mic, is that, they're making those third-party games very, very enticing to buy on a PlayStation if you're a multi-console owner.
Yeah, 100%.
For example, I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us, except for Zemi, our multi-console owners here, because he, gave it away at Christmas. Anyways, joking aside, but the thing is, multi-console owners. But if you give me reason to buy it on a PlayStation, that you're doing some pretty magnificent work, because I got to tell you, I only play first-party games on Sony, and I play everything else on Xbox. Immediately when I saw that whole thing, that whole business about the Hogwarts Legacy, if anybody's interested, go check it out and see all the cool features they're adding into it on strictly the PlayStation. I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation, right? So now you've taken a reason away, you've taken a third party away from my Xbox, and I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation. Now, I also have a distinct feeling that there may be some kind of, whoa, Boom's head got really big. There we go. I have a distinct feeling that if you buy Modern Warfare 2 on the PlayStation, I think they're going to do some kind of a something or other, with the PSVR. They'll be like, oh, if you buy it on PlayStation, you get early access to a demo for the PSVR or whatever, so you could try it out. And then if you really, really like it, then you could purchase the content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they may give even extra incentive to do that.
Well,
so
I will tell you this, to your point, you talk about, they make it very enticing.
Yes.
I can't begin to tell you how many games I double dipped on that I bought for Xbox, beat, and then played through it on PlayStation because there were that free VR, upgrade. Where, something like Resident Evil had it. Yeah.
That's right. And so that's what I'm thinking they're going to do, Boom. I could see them doing some kind of a package deal with Modern Warfare, very similar to how they did the demo, the Resident Evil, what was it? The kitchen demo?
The kitchen demo was magnificent and horrifying.
Right. And so I think that they could do something like that. It'd be like, buy Modern Warfare 2 on PlayStation, and then you get free access to, blah, 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 blah for the PSVR 2 of the Modern Warfare 2. That is another great tie-in. Like I said, I've been playing games now. I've been playing some first-party Sony games recently, and some of the DualSense 5 implementation is amazing, and it really does. I know it sounds really corny, especially coming from an Xbot, but I got to tell you, they're amazing. The features are amazing. I'm playing Ratchet and Clank right now. I got it for 50% off. Amazing. And even Horizon Forbidden West, which I've only dabbled in for about an hour. Amazing, and it just adds this whole other immersion to the game. I can't imagine what's something that I absolutely hold dear to my heart, like Harry Potter series. I can imagine when I read all those features, I'm like, I'm sold, instantly sold on this. So they're doing a great job in that respect. So I think those are the games I think they're going to come. Final Fantasy, not really my thing, but I think they will talk about it. For anybody interested in that. But anyway, that's my list. That's what I think is going to happen. So
I am going to say this. The supposed, and again, this is just a rumor, folks, that Forspoken was going to be delayed again.
Oh, shish
that in its place was supposed to be, and again, this is just a rumor. You can go to VGC to check out the article, that the replacement would have been or could potentially be Final Fantasy 16. Which would be great if you like. I don't know about anyone else. I hated Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, it was
utterly
awful.
Hated that game. Loved Final Fantasy 7 remake, 100%. So I'm not interested in 16, unfortunately, because I have a feeling and a strong suspicion it's going to be like 15, which was terrible. Forspoken is a bit of a conundrum for me. I've seen multiple trailers. I don't even know what the game is. I will definitely check it out for sure. But that's one that could be delayed. Keasante, let's bring you in on the conversation, brother. This, again, depending on who you poll, which, by the way, welcome. 415 live viewers. I want to say a big thank you. If you're just finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. Double Barrel Gaming is going to be doing show after show after show, both on guesting on other folks' podcasts, as well as, of course, hold on just a second. Let me just play the footage. There we go. And as well as a ton of live content all through the month of June for coverage of what you would expect, and that's E3 coverage, even though it's not called E3. I'm sorry, folks. I am doing too many things at once. I started the wrong footage. Okay, here we go. Now we're back to what I needed. Que Asante, let's bring you in on the conversation. Now, this again, when you take a step back and you look at, if you're a fan like I am of Resident Evil, well, you're going to get some Resident Evil Village DLC, which is great. There's potential for announcements regarding PlayStation VR 2, usage when that releases next year. I'm most interested in Resident Evil 4 Remake. I really am a fan of what they're doing, bringing us back to the old games. I know Sully said originally, Sully, shout out to you, brother, that Resident Evil 3 was missing a lot. It was missing a ton. The clock tower situation with Nemesis was gone. The whole zoo was removed. There was a whole train part that was moved. They cut a lot out of that game. I hope at some point we get some sort of a director's cut where they put all that stuff back in, because Resident Evil 3 remake was great, but it did miss out on a lot of stuff. Stray, I know that's the smaller one of all the games. I know it's a cat, but it kind of looks interesting to me anyway. I don't know if I'm going to get a day one, but what are your thoughts on the leaked list for the opening salvo, if you will, for what is known as E3 week? Is it hitting the buttons for you?
So first and foremost, yes, we should all caveat it by saying it's probably a fake list or whatnot. But as the mag has expertly pointed out, even if it is a fake list, the real list is somewhat of a makeup of this list, because they're just by mathematics alone, how far off the beaten path could this have gone, right? Mm-hmm. Whoever put this together literally stuck the finger in the air and found every single potential likelihood and put it all on one page. So even if it's not exactly this, it'll be somewhat of this, which I think we can all agree to. Do I think it's a barn burner? Hell no, but it's a good list. It's a pretty decent list. It has something for everybody on this list. If this is what they end up showing on the PlayStation show, everybody will come away feeling pretty good about it, right? And as we've already said, this is not their huge E3 like offering. It just so happens to be, during that E3 like time. Last year they actually released somewhat later. They came out with their showcase, right? They really have gone outside the E3 frame. They came out, I think it was July or August. I think it was July.
I think it was late
July. Late July. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's still a very big possibility. They tend to repeat, the methods of implementation. So if they did it last year, chances are they'll do it again this year. So just the list we're looking at here, I'm pretty excited about it. It looks pretty decent. Do I think this list is a very big possibility? Sure, I do think it's a pretty good possibility. I see Stray on the list. Those who know me, and shout out to the indie gamer who had me on his show yesterday. Those who know me know I dig my indie games, so I'm there for Stray. I think it looks really cool. I think the aesthetic is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
it's a game about a cat. Aesthetic.
Yep.
That's right. It's a game about a cat. How long could it be? Maybe just a few hours. It looks really cool. It looks like somebody poured their heart and soul into it. I will enjoy that game when it comes out. I'm excited about it. On the leak list, I also see Little Devil Inside, another one that blew me away when I first saw it. That is like completely indie fare, and I'm there for it day one. I'm super excited to see where it goes. It's almost Somerville Inside-esque in its quality. So I'm really there because I consider the folks that made Inside, the folks that made Limbo, to me that is tip of the spear when it comes to AAA indie, if you will.
Indie
right?
at its absolute
finest.
At
its finest, yeah, exactly. And I think this is speaking that same kind of language. So hey, I'm not one to poo-poo a vision because I haven't seen it before. I'm there for it. I'll check it out. Right. I'm looking forward to that. Now, Street Fighter 6, I am still 50-50 on whether it's exclusive or not. I understand why it couldn't or shouldn't be exclusive. I get that. But I'm also I'm also of the school of thought that once you open the Pandora's box of money to a business, it's very hard to close that box up again and say you'll still get the same money when there's guaranteed money available. So they've already opened that box. If I see them go exclusive again, I would not be surprised because that box has already been opened and money was in that box. So going about it the next time around and going, yeah, we know there's money in that box, but we're going to keep that box closed. That doesn't speak righteous business to me. I can see a world because there has been reports and conversations that some of the game developers and some of the people behind the game were back and forth on whether or not it should be exclusive this time around, and I think one or two folks left because of it. I'm not sure where it fell, but we still know that we don't know 50%. It could be or it could not be. It is what it is. Myself and Mr. Everborn Saga, who's not with us today, are still on the bet that I say it's multi-platform,
yes,
a multi-generation, and he says it's not. I think he changed his mind recently, but last time we spoke about it, I think he said it was not. And I still contend you will be able to play this on your PS4, on your Xbox One. So because of that, it will never hit the highest heights that I want it to hit. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. But it'll be a last gen game in next gen clothes, as Gotham Knights is. So that to me is a little bit of a sour mark on it, but we shall see. I'm looking forward to seeing a complete picture rather than the small half picture they had the first time it was released. So there's that. The next RE game, obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I can see that on the PlayStation show, even if this list is fake. I can definitely see that. Here's where I will be a bit of a contrarian. Okay, well, first and foremost, I am probably the biggest VR fan of everyone on the stage. You can tell my credentials by my by Valve Index right there,
Love
and
the
my
stands,
Quest
by the
2,
way.
and my PSVR right here. You can tell them all right there. Right, that one cost me an arm and a leg, but I'm still very proud of it. And as a proud VR user and owner, I say PSVR 1 was absolute trash.
Yeah.
If PSVR 1 soured you on VR, go for PSVR 2. You'll probably be pleasantly surprised. If PSVR 1 didn't sour you on VR, you can only go up from there because from a hardware perspective, it was the worst way to show off a new technology. It was not great. So from the hardware we've seen today, I'm super excited about PSVR 2. I think this should just be PSVR show rather than, calling it whatever BS you guys are calling it. The news of the story of this show should be the biggest news should be the PSVR-ness and what they're showing there, because everything else is, yes, third-party greatness, and I'm looking forward to that as well. But the news that they're showing about the PSVR should really be what will make the news stories, I suspect. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're coming out with there. Unlike PSVR 1, this time the hardware is really capable of great VR. So I'm there day one. I'm super excited to see what they do with it. I will most likely be day one PSVR 2. Another thing that I may that may be contrarian on my part, I am not looking forward to seeing any tie-in of VR with a game, even if it's Call of Duty. I think it is usually trash because VR is a medium that requires you to think in VR from jump. And when you don't do that, it's always a dumb tech demo just to put COD on something. Unless they're making a solely Call of Duty in VR, oh boy, that would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
Those who play VR games know it now. There's a game called Contractors. That is Call of Duty in VR. There's a game called Pavlov. That is Call of Duty in VR. And they control different. They are about different things because you have to be in VR to be special for it to really matter. Right? You can't put a flat game and then give you a VR version and then make it work. They tend to not spend the amount of time and effort to really make it shine. The only company that I have seen do that successfully was Resident Evil 7 Capcom. Only time ever. Even the recent Resident Evil remakes that they've put on Oculus were trash in comparison to Resident Evil 7. That was the only one where, hey, it's a flat game. It plays great. You put on the VR headset, it's just as good, and heck, it's even better because now you can see the spit on the faces of the people who are about to come and kill you, right? It's the only time they've been successful at really doing that. So if they're doing that again, oh yeah, this is next level. But more often than not, there have been many attempts at that, and usually it's kind of lackluster. So, until they show me more of that, I will probably assume it's going to be more of the latter rather than the greatness that was Resident Evil 7. It's so good, I will say never play it in VR because it's just that scary. It's insanely cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, needless to say, yeah, they'll probably try it because, as you guys have said, they have the license. Just the name of Call of Duty is enough to bring the boys to the yard, as it were. So for sure, they'll try something, right? But I'm just hoping they don't just go for the marketing play and they really try to make a VR version of Call of Duty, because that would be special. But that requires a lot more time and effort than I think they want to spend on a franchise that very soon will belong to their competitor. So I don't know about that part. You know what I mean? So we shall see where they go with it. As far as your Final Fantasy, I too was not a fan of the boy band simulator that was Resident Evil 15. I totally wasn't that. The hair,
God,
you
that
know.
game.
So
You know.
boy band simulator.
Some people loved it,
It
but
Like
it was totally a
instinct
boy
on a
band.
road trip.
It was in sync on a road trip for 100%. That's why I call it.
Oh my god, that is awful.
So yes, I'm not the hugest fan of the boy band simulator. Those who liked it. I have very for some reason I have a code for it on PC, on console, everywhere. But for some reason I have never been able to sit through more than 15 minutes of that game. Anyway, I do think though, on the topic of Resident Evil, of a Final Fantasy remake, how about part 2 of Remake 7? I can see
That
them
would be-
showing
yeah,
part 2
yes,
of Resident
yeah.
Evil Remake 7 on here. Just a blurb, because we all know that part 1 of Final Fantasy Remake took a year, 2 decades and a half just to come after all the various delays. So let's start the ball rolling on part 2, coming out eventually in 2015, but being shown off first here. You know what I mean? Basically what happened with part 1, right?
Yeah.
But hey, that is definitely something that can be shown off here, and it's a feather in the cap of PlayStation. You'll never see that anywhere else, right? And if you do, you'll see that in the Epic Game Store, a terrible version of it, 5 years after the thing has already been released. So, if they have the opportunity to show it, I think you'll definitely see it there. That would look really, really cool. Last piece on the VR side of the house, because Microsoft just refuses to get in the game, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous and unfortunate. It all belongs to PlayStation. We need to see, and I personally think had Microsoft had an offering, you would have seen it on their stage too, but they don't have an offering. So Gabe will have no choice but to go Half-Life Alyx PSVR 2. That will also
actually,
be
I'm almost positive. And if folks, please course correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost positive that has been confirmed as a launch title.
Oh,
PlayStation.
man,
I
that
kind
would
of
be
snuck. I started looking around. There's been a lot of rumor and speculation, but I haven't seen any official sources say as much. But it is a foregone conclusion. Clearly, Valve wants VR to shine. I mean, there's my Valve Index right there. They are about it, to the point where I bought mine a little later, a little earlier, my Valve Index, but right after I bought it, and they go, oh, well, we have Half-Life Alyx coming out. Anyone who bought the Valve Index gets Half-Life Alyx for free. So I literally got grandfathered in after the fact. And anyone who bought an Index after it came with Half-Life Alyx. So they're really about hey, we just want you guys to play this thing, show you the greatness that is the potential of VR. So I can definitely see them going, look, PlayStation, we'll give this to you so you guys can play it as well. I can also see it eventually come to, all the various other VR headsets, but that will be the killer app, I suspect, when this thing comes out. Between that and the Horizon Call of the Mountain, which I've only seen the snippets of it, but it kind of looks like you're just on rails, which again speaks to the fact that they just want to put an IP out without necessarily really giving it the attention VR deserves. It might look beautiful, but you do nothing. You just sit there and watch all the beautiful things around you, and it doesn't look like there's too much agency in it by itself. But I hope I'm wrong when I see it in action, right? You know, it's great that they can make things look beautiful, but it has to also play well in VR. It's not just a VR movie, if you will. And so far, it kind of looked like a VR movie a bit to me. There are some VR games that lean heavily on that as well. But yeah, I'm there's a lot to be looking forward to on this show. I'm looking forward to checking it out. You know, I hope that it exceeds my expectations. You know, if they show Forspoken, I will be excited as well. I'll be playing that on PC day one. And why will I be playing that on PC? Because
it has achievements.
I kind of tend to lean more towards achievements than I do trophies, and it has achievements day one. So there you go. It won't be on Xbox, but it'll still be Xbox achievements day one on Forspoken. Yes,
Yeah, confirmed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
it is confirmed. You can actually go to the actual Xbox store right now, today, even on the Xbox app, and look it up. It'll say it's only available on PC, but it even gives you the achievement list. It's there today.
That's
You can buy
crazy.
it. Yes. So that tells me, and that's a quick aside, that tells me that game was multi-plat all the way to the very end when money hadn't happened, and they went, okay, let's take this one off the disc. Because at the end of the day, everything's done for both of them, including achievements.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely be playing that on PC. But yeah, by and large, I'm looking forward to this. This list possibly is fake, most likely fake. But if 75% is good, I think it's a win. I think it's a solid 8 out of 10 show, and we'll see. You know,
Yeah. Only time. I mean, listen, their last couple of state of play, specifically when they went in 14 minutes into Hogwarts, was great. Especially if you're a fan of Harry Potter, that game is gonna sell like hotcakes. I trust me when I tell you. I'm sure that if they would have had it their way, they would have made that console exclusive at least for a year, 2 years. There's no way that WB was going to take that, especially how big it's going to be. What I want to do is, I know there's a lot of talk of Street Fighter V. How many copies did Street Fighter V actually sell? So I pulled it up, and according to Capcom's updated platinum title list, which of course is now includes Street Fighter V, they have moved past 6 million units sold, and this comes to us November 2nd of 2021. Obviously, we're in the midst of 2022, so since November, what it could have moved, I don't know. Now, what's interesting and what I can't seem to find is that are these units of part of these sale units the ones that they gave away, because at some point they gave away Street Fighter V to
a man
PlayStation.
after my own theory. As soon as you started talking about this, I was like, let's see how much of that is before they gave it away, and how much of that is after they gave it away. Because I think there's a discrepancy there. But yes,
there is a bit of a
good.
discrepancy because before the giveaway, they had moved like 2.8 million copies, and there's a reason for it. First of all, it launched incredibly broken. There was online was a wreck. There was no story mode. There was no actually single player game at Jump. It was terrible. And again, Capcom was in a bit of dire straits then, so I don't know if that had a lot to do with it. But needless to say, at that time, they needed to make this deal with PlayStation in order to, of course, save themselves from bankruptcy, which they were close. They were on the ropes, and more importantly, they took the bag of money. Now, if you think about it now, even if it's at 6 million, let's say for shits and giggles, they sold 6 million. When you consider how many PlayStation 4s there are in the world, which I think the count is at 115 million, that's not good. And fighting games are niche to begin with. That's not really a big number. So I don't know if Capcom looks at that and says, yeah, I think we want to sign on to that deal when we have PC, and we also can bring it to Xbox. But let's bring in Crispy Bomb. Crispy, you took a look at this list, and again, is it fake? Is it real? Who knows? We talked about this to open up the show. Take it with a grain of salt. For you, does this list hit?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't.
I just love that.
Let's put it this way. You look at what Nintendo's been doing for a while, and nobody talks about Nintendo. And everybody says, "Whoa, State of Play kind of looks like a Nintendo Direct, don't it?" I mean, let's be logical.
Yeah.
Kind of do the same similar things. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Nintendo or PlayStation. What I'm saying is you copy somebody that's been there far before you. It don't look good. You're trying to innovate at this point. And the worst part is that I want some multiplayer, which y'all got to go back real quick and be like, PlayStation was actually an innovator when it came to multiplayer. A lot of people don't know that. Okay? It was like PlayStation has SOCOM, stuff like that. Like, we're going 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you had a 56K modem, and you could play multiplayer games on PlayStation, making the PlayStation account and all this stuff. These are times that I felt they were always innovating. Now we go to now, and it's like, let's copy our brethren. I mean, they're not hating on Nintendo. They're just copying them. It's flattering. And Nintendo's probably sitting there like, how can we make our stuff better without involving Microsoft? And they've already started to involve Microsoft because they felt there's no choice. You have all this cloud gaming, stuff like that. And you can say what you want, but xCloud is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to be a juggernaut soon. Okay. It's going to be, you can play Halo on your phone and people are going to be like, oh shit. But guess what? A lot of people have been playing Fortnite on their phone. A lot of people have been playing PUBG on their phone. Okay. And you're involving Activision as we get towards that point. I'm actually excited. I mean, if I'm going to watch this, it's going to be, I expect Modern Warfare 2 to be, PSVR 2. The problem
I don't think they're actually going to show that until the 8th, so I don't know what this actually is. Again, it may just be a mode that, I mean, is it on rails? Is it actually going to be, hey, at that point, when this PlayStation VR 2.0 releases next year, they will have worked on it and actually have Modern Warfare 2 from start to finish up and running where it is in VR.
Well, the one thing I'll say is that, I have one VR person in the house. He's Aiden. He's my girlfriend's son. Okay. And he is all about that untethered, unwired greatness that is the Quest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He is all about that. I mean, like I've told probably a story or two before, he sounds like he's going to take down the entire roof of the house. Okay. So what I'm telling you is that little wire, regardless of what you think, it don't matter to you. Cause man, I played on arcade machines. I put quarters in, baby. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to now and how people are gaming, if they're going to go VR, they're going all in. And I'll tell you right now, and a lot of people don't fucking remember, Facebook and Microsoft have a partnership. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Oculus is still there. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it for a second.
Every time you say that name, it makes me sad because technically it's not. It's now Meta.
It's
Tier.
Meta.
Yeah, it's not Meta.
Stupid name.
Which, by the way, just lost their COO.
Okay. Oh yeah, he was like, I'm done with these places. I'm out.
She just announced she's leaving, and that's a big loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
but that's look at, like, things are changing. We've done this with Xbox as well. Things are changing. Okay, like some people agree, some people don't agree. We totally get that. I've been there. I've been sitting on an island and been like, no, this is what's going to happen. And it's starting to happen because, basically Sony's like, hey, we've trashed you all these years, Nintendo, but we love you now because we're doing exactly what you have done. And they're putting out their first, like Horizon, like the mountain thing, whatever the hell you're talking about. I don't care anymore. You are not bringing out any multiplayer that is worthy of my conversation. And
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
I mean, listen, I figured that's the route you were going to take because you are a multiplayer guy.
It's just it baffles my mind that they are not adapting to what they.
Well, they
should
are.
be
I mean,
adapting to.
unfortunately, we're going to have to wait because they do have the 10 games as a service, and there's some rumors that it's going to be SOCOM. Resistance is going to be one of those games as well. I don't know who the other 8 are going to be. If it is SOCOM, that's going to be big. If it is Resistance Fall of Man, that's going to be big.
Yeah, I mean, even Resistance. I agree with that. My point is that everybody always acted like Xbox was too late. Well, I think we're in a different, realm of the timeline. As you want to go Marvel with it. Realm of the timeline. And this realm at this point, Sony needs to do better than Nintendo Direct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, listen, great points from everybody. What a way to open up the show. We have 450 people here. We actually have a lot of new faces here. Just want to shout out the real YT Shadow. He says, I don't go out of my way to look for Xbox podcasts or Xbox channels. Well, this is not technically an Xbox channel. I do have Xbox dedicated show, but we do talk about everything. And like I said, listen, everyone here is welcome. If you're a Sony guy or gal and you want to come, we're not clowning on Sony. We don't do that. We will give the righteous smoke when it's needed. And I've done that to Xbox the last couple of weeks because quite frankly, they've earned it. So we will, we don't really Debbie down on this show. So if you are finding the channel for the first time, hey, consider, subscribing and hang around because we're going to talk about the Xbox show, which have been announced. The Xbox. Yes, sir.
Real quick. Before we move to the Xbox show, and I know we want to do that, I really wanted to ask real quick, and I wanted the opinion of the rest of the panel members. How much do you think this PSVR 2 costs?
$500.
That is,
$500.
it's going to be $499.
Yep.
No questions.
Because that's how much the PSVR 1 costs. And by virtue of how much it costs to make them, it is like my first VR compared to actually tip of the spear technology.
Yeah,
That's the difference between 1 and 2.
Yeah,
and $499 was one's first price. We think 2 will be the same.
We know that Sony's not big on taking losses, so you might be right. I mean, I think it might be even higher than that. I think it could be $599.
Whoa!
If they go above $599, they're dead in the water.
No, they're not. They're not going to do that.
Which tells you then you need what, $1,200 before you can actually play VR using the PlayStation? That's so strange.
It's not logical, okay? Because number one, you already have the Oculus Quest 2 out there, or Meta Quest, as some people want to call it, but it's an Oculus to us. Like we've it's been like 5, 6, 7 years. It's like, hey, it's an Oculus. Like they can call it whatever they want. I don't care.
Yes, Mama called them Oculus. I'm gonna call them Oculus. It's fine.
Yeah,
yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But that's where I go and say, like, it's too affordable. You understand what I'm saying? It's almost like, are you gonna do this twice? Except you're gonna do it in the VR space.
See, and I don't mean to make it a
$300. The Oculus Quest 2, if you can get it, is $300.
It's $300. Yeah.
Okay, retail. So
yeah, but look at the tech going in. You saw the
That's
tech
my point. That's my
they
point.
Were spouting for this thing is revolutionary for the VR for the VR.
They are saying that this is a big deal
in the console space. In the console space, it will do it'll do things that other headsets have not done. Not everything will be different. Even the Valve Index, which is the oldest, which has been traversed by even the Quest 2. There are certain things that the Valve Index can still do now that nothing else can do. Each of them adds something new to the to the environment. PSVR 1 did not do that. PSVR 2 definitely will. They will be doing foveated rendering, lots of different interesting things that other headsets do not do. Doesn't mean it'll outshine everything everywhere, but the tech in it justifies a higher price. What Quest 1 and 2 have done very expertly is they just focus on, well, we're giving you a phone on your face. If you want that real VR goodness, we'll let you rely on your PC for that. So when you buy that crazy video card, you don't add that price into your VR experience because you already have that crazy video card.
Right.
PlayStation can't do that, right? So as much as we want to go, well, we're comparing Quest 2 to PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation VR 2 has to come with a PS5 in order for the visuals to actually be justified. Whereas Quest 2 can go,
Facts.
well, you could just keep playing this phone game on your face. It'll be fine. When you're ready to step up to the real gaming thing, here's your beefy video card that we have nothing to do with, right? It's going to be interesting. I want to hear this,
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes with this because I don't know.
The other thing is, Asante, the other thing is, too, is that there are not that many PS5s out there. It's not like there's 100 million
Another
out
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Only
Like the
15
PS4
million.
was.
Right. Only
Yes.
15 million.
Okay,
yeah.
so 15. So let's say by the end of the year, let's say about 20 million.
20.
Maybe.
Let's say 20.
All right, just for argument's sake, let's say 20. How many of those 20 million are going to adopt a PSVR that is damn near the same price, if not
Exactly.
more expensive?
Yeah,
That is tough
the
stuff.
way to
Very
resolve that is to make the PSVR 2 capable wirelessly to connect to PCs. But Sony never does that. They
won't
always
do
make
anything
their
like that.
stuff hardware dependent. So that will really make it a niche within a niche. But
What-
let's move forward. But I always thought that that's such an interesting
could
piece of the
bundle it.
puzzle.
They could
Bundle it with what?
for a couple of $100 above asking.
So then,
Yeah.
then what would you do? Make the
I don't know, I'm
PlayStation
just
VR
spitballing
2
here.
and PS5 bundle $1,000?
I'm just spitballing here,
Jeez.
but I mean, it is crazy. But like,
You know,
Hey,
can
man,
you
this is
imagine
probably
seeing
what they're
that bundle
doing
for
right
a
now.
grand?
that's probably
That's
what they're
crazy.
doing right now. They're like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, well, real
what's-
quick, good friend of the show, Pixelbit G suggests that 1% at best of that 20 million would buy. So a million, they'd sell 1 million units.
And
Yeah.
Pixel keeps his ears to the street, so
He does.
he's most
He's-
likely correct in
Speaking
that.
of which,
in
you got to
those
get
numbers,
Pixel
yeah.
on this show. Pixelbit.
Oh, yeah, great
You know what?
resource, yeah.
Let's bring you in for the prediction show next week. I'll DM you after the show. We'll get you on here, brother. We definitely got to.
Actually, well, I'm not here next week, right? Boom. So you could throw me in my spot.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Right?
All right, so I'll DM you after the show, brother. But listen, folks. 450 people here. You're all beautiful for supporting Double Barrel Gaming. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, I gotta ask because I get yelled at by Randall Thor when I don't. Hit the like button, please, for the love of Joe. It does help more than you know. And of course, if you're new, consider subscribing. And if not, well, listen, it's cool too. The Xbox show, folks. This is a show that, as of today's date, has had 0 leaks. Now, normally, Microsoft, man, they're a leaky ship. We get all kinds of news before, and it ruins it. Usually, for me, it ruins it, right? Because you want to be surprised. You want to be sitting here in someone's show, whether it's the Iron Lords, whether it's Mav and his crew, whether you're going to be watching it with me and my crew, or wherever you're going to be watching it. You want to be surprised. You want to be able to cheer. You want to get up out of your couch and jump, and because they just brought back your favorite character in a new way. So far, Microsoft hasn't leaked anything, which is now, depending on what side of the plate that you're on, some people are suggesting it's concerning because people are like, well, can they respond? Because you remember, let me paint the picture for the folks here. Microsoft is in a unique position for a multitude of reasons. Last year, depending on who you are, at least for me and many people on the panel will agree, and maybe even some will disagree, Microsoft put on a 10 out of 10 show. 30 games, 10 out of 10. It was just banger after banger after game after game. It was a 10 out of 10. It was by most accounts, and again, this is my opinion, it was probably the best E3 show that they have ever put on in the 20-year franchise's history, right? They've had some really big ones. This one, last year's, was just phenomenal. So just based on the success of last year, they're up against it, so to speak, because they have to deliver minimum, in most people's opinions, especially mine as the showrunner, they absolutely have to, at least at bare minimum, meet what they did last year. Anything short of what they did last year, it's going to be a total failure, in my opinion, right? Now, is that too much pressure? Maybe. But you see, that's not the only back against the wall situation they're dealing with, folks. We're coming off Microsoft not having a bunch of good weeks. I mean, are they packing it up and going home? No. But there were some weeks that the information that it was putting out there, not so great. And the two biggest pieces of that information, the part of this puzzle, was the delay of Starfield and Redfall. That's devastating. Again, the games are going to be great when they come out, and that's fantastic. But we had a release date for Starfield. Zemi Games is one of your biggest, most anticipated titles for a multitude of reasons. You are Mr. Bethesda. So the question is, going into this show, which is 11 days from now, we got a chance by leaked rumor. This is what Sony's going to open up the games week or the games month or the games, whatever you want to call it. We know that Jeff Keighley has his show on the 9th. That's probably going to be a good show. He's going to have a lot of surprises, a lot of new reveals. I'm very much looking forward to it. Zemi, I got to go to you, brother. There are a lot of fans, Microsoft fans, Xbox fans, that felt a little, the wind was taken out of the sail, so to speak, with the delay news, right? You had the system was crashing. You had the DRM situation, right? You had the announcement that they passed on Spider-Man back in the days, which that's understandable because Terry Myerson would have never allowed it anyway. And then you found out, thanks to several people on the interwebs, that they passed on Knights of the Old Republic remake, which again, for me, that's an L because that game is so important to me. What do they do this upcoming June 12th? How big do they really go into the bag? And I mean, totally bring the AAA first party games. Do we see Avowed? Do we see Hellblade? Do we see Compulsion Games mystery game? Do we see things that all these projects that they're working on? How big is this show going to be? And how important is it for Microsoft to gain fan love again, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, so to kind of start off with the first thing that you mentioned being that there hasn't been any leaks. I don't see that as any sign that Xbox doesn't have anything or Xbox is scrambling or anything like that, or it's I don't take that as a bad omen from for what this Xbox showcase is going to be. And a big reason why is because they have had a lot of negative news. So in my mind, it only makes sense to really hatching down the ship and make sure that no leaks come out, right? As far as the show, I think we're going to get a great show. Is it going to be as good as last year's show? I have no idea, but I think that is playing a dangerous game because at some point you're going to get a show that's just not as good, right? You can't keep topping what you're doing year after year after year, right? It's just, it's just not viable.
Especially when right before your show starts, you dig a crater the size of the moon by telling people that the two main huge bangers they're expecting is not going to be there. Oh boy,
yeah, that doesn't help.
But continue.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, that for sure doesn't help. But I think that we are going to see some Xbox first party games that are, far out in the future potentially, or, maybe planned to release in 2023, maybe possibly 2024. Xbox has been willing to show us some things that are a little bit further in the horizon, more so than what they previously have as a company. For instance, showing us Fable, I think, in 2019, 2020, and that game is probably not going to come out until at least next year or 2024, I would imagine, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't, show us. Or I wouldn't be shocked if they did show us some games that we just have no idea about, that are just completely new announcements, but scheduled for really, really far out in the future. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw games that we've already previously seen or previously heard of that are in development, like the compulsion game, such as Fable, such as Avowed, so on and so forth. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get, you know, another trailer for those games or an update of some kind, or maybe gameplay, you know, if it's ready. As far as, you know, what I think we're going to see being released this year, unless Xbox just magically has first party games available to them, that you know, they're able to move the timetables up on to try to replace Redfall and to replace Starfield. I think that they're going to rely heavily on third party Game Pass deals. You know, for instance, you know, an idea that I've been talking about, as well as other, you know, content creators, is potentially getting a major third party game like Saints Row into Game Pass day
I
and
agree.
date, right?
I think Saints Row would be a great pick.
Yeah, and I think making a move like that would be a great way to you know, to take care of their consumer base, you know, this holiday that is looking, you know, and asking the question of, hey, what am I going to play, right? Um, but overall, I think it's going to be a great show. I really do. I'm not really worried in any, you know, way, shape, or form. I know that it's been, you know, disappointing these last couple of weeks for you know, some Xbox gamers, but you know, I definitely still have faith in Xbox as a brand, and you know, I still have faith in Xbox's marketing team. Hiccups happen, um, but overall, I think it's going to be a great show. I, you know, don't know if it's going to be as good as last year, but you know, I know that I at least am going to see several games that interest me and that I'm going to look forward to playing, you know, later on this year, or, you know, out in the future. And so long as Xbox is able to show, you know, a game for everyone, right? I think that, you know, it should go down as a win, right? So long as every gamer that watches that show can see at least one game that they're excited about or that they're interested about, preferably more than that. To me, I think that that's a victory.
You know what? Before I let you off the hook, Greggy T or Greggy 8T, welcome to the program, brother, and thank you so much for the outstanding $5 super chat. He says this, and I want to know if you agree with him there. Is it Crispy Zemi Games? Fable must be shown on the 12th. It's about time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like in a normal situation, absolutely, I agree, right? It is about time, but as we've seen, delays are rampant, and you know, it's taking longer to develop these games that we're playing, right? So, you know, I would look. I'm totally in the camp. I want to see Fable. I want to see a new trailer. I want to see gameplay. I want to see. I don't even care. Just show me a logo up on screen again.
I
and
know
I'll
what you
be
really
happy,
want.
right?
I know
I
what you
just wanna see
really
Fable.
want. You
What?
want to see a
Chicken
chicken
kicking.
get kicked across the room.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, yeah, I would love to see that. However, you know, we do have to remember the current climate that we're living in, and you know, I don't want to, you know, I personally, before going into any of these shows, I like to, you know, manage my expectations, right? Like temper my expectations. I don't want to get myself in the mindset that something's going to be there whenever it hasn't been confirmed. Then it's going to let me down. Then I'm going to get angry at Xbox for no reason of their own, right? They didn't promise me these things. I just built up in my mind what I wanted to see and it didn't show up. And now I'm getting pissed off at Xbox for not doing anything to me, right? So for that reason, I always like to temper my expectations. And sure, I would love to see Fable. I absolutely would. But I'm not expecting it just because of all the delays and you know, the added time that's being that's being tacked on to multiple, you know, game studios developing games, you know, these days.
Listen, great points as always. This is why we love having you on here. You're always the sensible one in the conversation. We definitely appreciate that. Mag, let's bring you in immediately.
Yes.
Look, the bottom line, and I'm not quoting The Rock here. That's the bottom line because The Rock says, look, the bottom line, honestly, folks, is everybody knows that they want to see first party stuff. Like, I get it. You know, there's going to be some third party stuff there. There's probably going to be a lot of really cool indie stuff. Which I'm an indie gamer. I love games of all A's and indie. I play everything, and I'm hoping that we see something super special there. But the reality is, everyone is going to be tuning in. It's an Xbox Bethesda show. We want surprises. We want updates on games that we know are coming, and we want to be surprised on games that we have no idea are coming. Last year, they had 30 games on display. 30 games. And Zemi suggests that, it's a dangerous game or a fine line we're walking to say that do they need to be better? I absolutely think that we've earned it. They need to be better. Are they going to be better? I have a strong suspicion that we're all going to be pleasantly surprised. Now, again, and I said this on numerous podcasts, for me, this is just speaking for me. The wind has been taken out of my sail because of the delays. That's just me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a terrible show, Mag. I think it's going to be a quite great show. But the wind has been taken out of my sails a little bit for you.
Me too.
Seeing everything that's happened last couple of weeks, not so great for Xbox. 12th is 11 days away. No leaks. Doesn't suggest that it's going to be bad or good, but there's no leaks. So we have nothing to go on other than our imagination for you. What does Microsoft have to do at this show?
What they need to do, and I know that people are saying that, and it's all granted, it's all relevant. So when people say, "Oh, we need to see Fable gameplay, we need to see this, we need to see Avowed or whatever," right? I get all that, but what we have to understand is that those are a year, if not longer, away. So that doesn't help the current narrative. What they need to do, and I know that they're going to do it. Okay, I know that they're going to do it. They're going to address the current narrative of, let's face it, 2022. This is where I come into play, and this is how I feel. Yeah, the wind was taken out of my sails a little bit too, but I just went, well, crap, there goes there goes Game Pass for the year for me, in terms of first party. Let's not get ridiculous and say it's Game Pass. They're going to have third-party stuff coming out. They got things coming out all over the place. Every single month they're dropping something, right? So It's not like there's nothing going to be there. However, it did take the wind out of my sails a little bit, whatever, right? But the thing is, what they've got to do and they've got to address is this year alone. Now, 2022, yes, we could look into the future, but the thing is, it's going to almost be comical in a way where not everybody, but a lot of people have been saying, we're tired of waiting. And then they put on a showcase of stuff that's going to come out not even next year, where you're basically going to be like, just wait more. You know what I'm saying? So I can't see them focusing on that. I could see them showing them and saying, look, we got this coming, we got that coming, we got this coming. But they've already been doing that over and over. How many times do we have to see Hellblade 2? If it's not coming out within this year, then why show it again? Because I have a feeling you're just going to start pissing people off now. They're going to go, oh my God, they showed Hellblade again. When is it? What year is this game coming? Right? So that's what I'm thinking. So what I think they need to focus on is they need to focus on Game Pass this year alone. Because you got to understand, this is what's in front of our face right now, right? We are alive in 2022. What are you going to give us while we are standing here and while
great
we are
points, great points, dude. Absolutely. I think you're killing it.
You know what I'm saying? What are you going to give me right at this very moment? I did not, like a lot of people out there talking, I did not cancel my Game Pass. Right? I didn't make a spectacle of myself because I wasn't happy after whatever happened, right?
Well, of course, we know you didn't cancel your Game Pass because you didn't announce it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Right?
Shame on you for not taking advantage of a situation.
Yeah, I should have rented a billboard on the side of the highway. Anyways, the point is that they're going to have to focus on what are you going to give us now. So here's my thoughts. Focus on Game Pass. Focus on the fact that the Series S is still selling like hotcakes. Focus on the fact that it's outselling the PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch. So start digging in. Get Lego Skywalker Legacy. Skywalker.
Great point.
Skywalker Edition. Get it in there starting on the June 12th. It's been out for 2 months now? Okay, whatever money they were going to make, they made. Okay? I'm sure they can make it on discount. But you know what? Drop the bag now. Drop the bag in front of them. Put Skywalker Saga in Game Pass. Dying Light 2, which they invested $50 million into the development of that game. Drop it June 12th. Do not wait another second longer.
Yeah.
Right after the show ends, Dying Light 2 is available right now in Game Pass. Drop it in there. Then you start.
You know what they could do also,
Yeah.
Mac, to add to your incredible theories and thoughts here, is they should Gotham Knights coming to Xbox Game Pass, Saints Row coming to go Xbox Game Pass bananas.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what you
Focus
have to do.
Focus on 2022.
Yep.
You already have, whether it's fans or fake fans or just, concerned trolls from the Sony side who are, pissed off with waiting. Why show them something that's coming in 2024? You're just going to antagonize these people even more, where they're just going to come out and they're going to start spouting all over social media. You see, it's the wait box. It's the just wait. It's the just wait. They showed Fable. It's not even coming out till 2025. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't antagonize the situation. Show everybody why they bought those Series S's this year. So you do something like that. If you don't got the first party, then you dish it out, right? So you dish out the cash, you get those games in there. So like I said, Lego Skywalker, Dying Light 2. You know what? They've got a great, they got, what's it called? Their, the Borderlands team there, right? They had the Borderlands, the Handsome Jack collection was in Game Pass with, the Borderlands 2 and all the DLC and everything was in Game Pass, right? Okay, drop Tiny Tina in there. Tiny Tina was probably doing all right, okay? It's probably sold a couple mil here and there, whatever. But guess what? Drop the bag in front of them, get Tiny Tina's in there as well.
So what you're saying is they need to drop the bag to Embracer Group to get Tiny Tina. Interesting. Because you know who owns that game, right? I'm just saying.
Embracer Group owns that game.
There you go.
And maybe Microsoft will own
know
Embracer
what?
Group, but that's a story for another podcast.
Now, here's the thing. Tiny Tina's a 4-player co-op game, right? Isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. Are all the Borderlands?
I believe it is. Yes.
It is, yes,
co-op?
indeed.
Okay, so there you go. Perfect Game Pass game. All right, throw it right in there. Throw it in there as well. Then, just like Boom mentioned, throw in the fall. Throw in Gotham Knights. Throw in, what's it called? Saints Row. People might think I'm crazy. Why am I crazy? You're talking about a company that was legitimately about to spend $77 billion, $70 billion on Activision, and they already made it back. Okay? They already made it back since they announced it. You don't think that they can afford to drop some cash to get these games in there that are not locked down?
Wasn't it announced that they said they had half a billion dollars for investment in Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, like what? An extra $500 million?
Yeah. That I believe that I'm going to look up the story right now, but I know that was announced.
Check it out.
That they literally have monies set aside for Game Pass deals.
Right. So you know what? I bet you it doubled this year as soon as they found out that Starfield and Redfall weren't coming. I bet you they said, okay, well, you know what? We don't have those games coming. Give them more money. Let's divert some more, throw some more money into that budget, and so get that thing going and bolster it. So now imagine this: from mid-June, all the way till let's say December, you've got all those games that I'm not going to mention again. I don't have to keep listing the same games. Okay, all those games go into Game Pass, and then you drop, let's say the Forza Motorsport, you throw it in there or whatever, right? And then maybe the Halo Season 3 goes in there in the fall, and make it meaty. Make that Season 3 very, very big. Make it a big drop. Okay, maybe even tease some some story, some campaign, addition to the game or whatever, right? So anything like that, something to bolster it up, so that all of a sudden you're like, holy crap! Look at all these games coming to Game Pass, and on top of it, they've got a Forza Motorsport. They got in addition to Halo, they got some DLC coming out for Halo. That's great, whatever, right? And then you look across the pond, and you're like, okay, so what's PlayStation got? God of War. You've just done it. So you lost your 2 big games. Yeah, you lost your Starfield because, we're also assuming that Forspoken is not coming out in 2022 because we have heard that rumblings for more than one person that it's going to get delayed, right? So anyways, the thing is, if you look at that, then all that PlayStation's got, which is a great game. I mean, well, not a great game, but it's a great IP. We don't know if it's a great game yet, which I'm sure it is. But the thing is at the end of the day, they're going to have one game. They're going to have one game. Marketing deals don't do anything. So, I mean, they do, but I mean, at the same time, they're not owned by Sony. So therefore, the one game that they got, the only bullet they got in the clip is God of War. And then if you start doing that, then Xbox can, without those two big games that they were supposed to drop, they could once again win the holidays. It is a win-win situation, but all they've got to do is invest the money into it. And like I said, show those first parties, show Avowed, show Starfield, show Fable, show those games, but show them quick and move on, because you don't want that to be the focus, because you don't want people focusing on the fact of Xbox players got to wait another year, maybe 2. They don't want that narrative out there. Focus on 2022 and get people hyped for what's in front of your face. That's all. That is, to me, is the winning formula.
Again, fantastic points, and I think that if you can pull off something similar or exactly what he just put down, I'm talking about him, the mag put down, that logistically saves Microsoft from these delays, these 2 monster delays. It honestly does change the narrative. It changes the question regarding, hey, they don't have a lot going into the fall, but actually, listen, we've seen Sony money hat third-party games left and right. And we saw Sony, when they didn't have a lot of their first-party bangers, depend on third-party, depend on, of course, the indies. Microsoft could take a page right out of that book and have money set aside for deals. And I hate to say this, I'm not saying it's desperate. What I'm saying is that right now, no is not the answer. They need to do something to get games into Xbox Game Pass. And I've said this before, and it's probably the 100th time I've said this. Xbox Game Pass is in itself the exclusive, because there are games that will release on multiple platforms, but no one is talking about it. You know who's talking about it? If you're an Xbox player, the community is talking about it. Hey, why should I go and pay $76.43 here in New York for said game on PlayStation when I can pay my $15 a month and get it in Xbox Game Pass? And games like Saints Row, games like, of course, Gotham Knights and others, plus games that released earlier in 2022 would be great for the service and get people to not only buy the box, but subscribe to the service. And again, you're going to get people that, listen, I know a lot of people that are like, hey, Boom, I unsubscribed from Game Pass because I got it for Starfield and I'm disappointed. I hear you.
You know what I'm interesting, Boom? Can I just interject quickly? For some of the people that say, I got Game Pass for Starfield. You got Game Pass 7 months before Starfield came out? Like, I never understood that. I'm like, so what were you planning on doing between now and the 7 months that Starfield was going to be coming out? Like, a lot of it is just fraudulent bull crap anyway. But anyway, the thing is, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to, that always just kind of got to me. I remember Dealer mentioned that too the other day too. It just kind of made me laugh. But anyway,
no, absolutely. Real quick, we had a super chat come in. Again, 450 people here. A good friend of the show, Splendiferous, my brother. How are you, man? Hopefully, you and your family are doing well. He drops very generous $2 super chat and says 400 plus people in the chat. Come on, people, we love you. Boom, hit the like button. Yes, please, for the love of Joe, hit the like button. I'm not even going to charge you for it. I promise. I'm not Sony. But dump bump. Anyway, listen, Kay Asante, you and I talk every day, and we always have such intellectual conversations regarding life, but mostly games. And I'm interested to know what you have to say for the importance of this show. This is a big deal for Microsoft because, like I've said this before, when it was announced, folks, that they were delaying these games, I said it on that emergency podcast. Microsoft is going to be limping into this show. And what wind up happening? Bad news after bad news after bad news. Now, granted, they've tightened the ship. No leaks. They're not talking, right? Game Pass has got some good games. Sniper Elite 5, which, by the way, is pretty freaking dope. And that's an Xbox Game Pass. You know, we just heard, I forgot what website it was. I'll get it in a second. Apparently, there's a lot of big announcements coming for Xbox Game Pass in June. I'm going to get the website. I want to shout them out because I use their stuff all the time. But for you, Kay, how big of a deal is this showcase, and what do they have to do for the Xbox fan base to once again, herald them as the best platform in the business?
So I remember that show where you were talking about, now they'll be limping into their E3 showcase. I remember that. And if you remember what I said, it was wait till June.
Yep.
That's what I've been saying this whole time. Wait till June. They need to show us something. What do they need to show us? It's different depending on who you ask, but wait till June and see what they show you before you make a determining factor whether or not 2020 is a wash, 2022 is a wash or not, right? What will they show us? Frankly, I honestly don't know. But what do I think they should show us? I'll get into the logistics and I'll be quick about it. But at a high level, this is kitchen sink time, right? Yes. There is no way on God's green earth you're going to replace Starfield in the minds of the public, because you were a victim of your own success. You set up the hype train way high. God Howard was involved, so that obviously meant something. And now, unfortunately, you have some egg on your face. We get that, right? So there is no way you will be able to reach the high heights of a Starfield hype train that you guys have built up, that now, just like the Halo hype train, has become, a bit of a marketing faux pas for now, right? But what can they do? What everyone has already mentioned now. And that's what I consider the kitchen sink approach. Now, let's get into this, and I'll be quick about it. We'll go right from the top. 1, GoldenEye. That will be shown off this time. 100%. Yep. I guarantee it. The game on the PC side is already leaked. You can find a copy for yourself and play it for yourself. But it's been out. It's a fully featured game that was done in like 2017 and just kind of was left into limbo. They finally sorted out the rights. 007's anniversary is this year. GoldenEye will be playable on the console as well. You can hit a button on the select button and you see the difference between the OG N64 graphics and the newer graphics that they made. They remade it on Unreal Engine 3. So it's out there. It's not hyperbole. I have played it. It's out there. I have played it. It is an Xbox game, not on Xbox. It's coming on Xbox. I guarantee it. Because there are so many people who will fall into that nostalgia train and love that. That's definitely going to be there. That is kitchen sink territory. I think the name of the game now should be Virtual Slices. Okay, you can't show us, you can't release Starfield. Okay, you can't release Redfall, but you're not going to show another CGI trailer. Because if you do, you're asking for it. Show Vertical Slice. I understand it's a waste of your time, but you've already wasted a lot of people's time as far as, you've led them down the path of hype train, and now potentially you're going to leave them disappointed. So, Vertical Slices. Right? When people see the full ramifications of what you've got for them, they'll understand why they needed to push back a little bit, because the game is higher in scope and quality. Hey, give us a chance to really pull the trigger and make this thing shine. We're going to need more time. Show us some vertical slices. And what do I mean by that? Starfield. Show me vertical slices of Starfield. Show me vertical slices of Redfall. Once you show me that, and you show the public that everything's good, they will be less likely to hate on you for not having it available immediately. Right? Show me, like the Mag pointed out, show me the next update to Halo Infinite, but show me Forge, show me co-op.
What about
even if you're not releasing
certain affinities a battle royale?
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know how far along they are yet, right? Okay. Maybe they are. Maybe that's your Halo update. This is what we're working on in the future. By the way, Forge is coming, this is coming, and this something special from Certain Affinity. Drop a quick little trailer of the Battle Royale mode from Certain Affinity. That would suffice 100%. Show me Contraband, Virtual Slice. Show it to me. Don't show me another CGI trailer. The first thing you did set the mood. I appreciated that. The next mood setter, I'll be upset about. Show me actual hand on sticks playing gameplay. Show me a Virtual Slice, right? Scorn is all but confirmed still to be coming this year. As gross as that is all yours and no one else's. Show me gameplay. We've already seen gameplay.
And don't you know that Zemi's most anticipated game of 2022? Zemi,
of course it is.
Don't lie to people, Boom. Don't lie to people.
On the same path, show me Gotham Knights in Game Pass. Show it to me, because that's kitchen sink territory right there. Oh, you want it? Here it is. Show me Gotham Knights in gameplay. Gameplay. Well, they don't even need to show gameplay at this point. They've shown a lot of that. Show it to me in a Game Pass announcement. Show me Cuphead DLC, The Last Course, Game Pass. Show it to me. It's been talked about forever. Show it to me, right? Then you move on to the block of hardware / infrastructure that we know you're going to do. Finally, show me that family plan for Game Pass. Show it to me, right? Show me Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, not coming to Xbox, coming to Game Pass. Now, you know damn well Sony cannot offer that $18 a month or whatever service as included with my PlayStation Plus subscription. Possibly even Microsoft doesn't want to subsidize that forever, but say, hey, for the next 2 years, it is included. You can subsidize it with an end date because it's expensive. It really is.
It's $20.
It's like $20.
It's like $20 a month. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just for that service. Microsoft can subsidize that for 2 years if they so choose to, just as an additive benefit. It can't be indefinite because that's a big hunk of change, right? But for a couple of years, that can be done. And within those couple of years, you know that will bring people to the yard because that is Ubisoft Plus day and date everything.
And that's all DLC and everything.
Everything, right? Because the classic collection, that's out there. That will be there. Like, do what you can do that others can't do, which is money, right? Obviously, we'll have the ID at Xbox block, which will be huge. You know, you'll show me a bunch of that stuff. Have a minute. Bring the wizard that is the best beard in the business out and show me the fixes to the damn capture system. Show it to me. Show it to me. Show me, see, this is how it now works compared to how it used to work. We listened to you and we're going to do this, right? And then, of course, if you're really going to go kitchen sink territory, I do want to see some CGI trailers, but it needs to be for some things out in the future. As Mag has said, I want to see some calendar releases in 2022. Chances are, what will that be? That'll be smaller projects. Maybe the smaller project that the coalition has been working on. What's a smaller project? That's all relative. That could be the Marcus Phoenix collection
of Obsidian. He's working on a smaller project.
He's working, but his smaller project is a very smaller, like indie kind of vein project, right?
He said he's nervous about it.
That's right. So I want to see some calendar releases for this year, even if they're not AAAs. Give me the Marcus Phoenix collection, remake, Unreal Engine 5. That is technically a smaller project for Coalition. Show me that. Right? Can
we have a Fable trilogy?
I was just going there. We saw the faux pas that was done from the Fable Twitter account. Something was in the mix. We still haven't gotten any confirmation as to what that was. They all but announced it and then canceled it like a day after. Show me a Fable collection. Show me a remade Fable collection. Right? There's a lot of that. Show me a CGI trailer of the next Wolfenstein game. It doesn't have to be much, just a CGI trailer. Show me some full gameplay of Motorsport, right? Because we know that's coming. You don't have to show me Hellblade 2. We've seen a lot of that. Show me some Avowed. You know, there's so many places to go. Show me like freaking Minecraft with ray tracing. Show it to me. You've already leaked it. It actually came out. Like I have an Xbox Insider account, so I get like beta versions. They basically let me have the ray tracing version for like 2 hours and then took it away from me. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? You know, show it to me. Like, I want to see that at this show, right? And as folks have already said, it can be third party. It doesn't have to be only first party. Yeah, we want to see some first party as well. But if you can tell me you're releasing the Fable collection, you're releasing the Marcus Phoenix collection, you're releasing the next version of Motorsport all this year, in addition to your Xbox game publishing releases, a few as well this year, all the others can be next year. You can show me a CGI trailer of the next Killer Instinct. You can finally tell me that's happening. I'll be very excited to see that. You can show me Callisto Protocol, right? We know that's coming. We know that's a big get for the marketing department. Show me that. All of that can supplement when you say the kitchen sink, like you guys have talked about. You're talking about your Skywalker saga. You're talking about your Dying Light 2. I want to see Persona, the whole entire thing in Game Pass, just like they did with the other collection last year that came into Game Pass, the Yakuza collection.
Yeah, right? That's right. Yeah.
Show me those. Show me that. All of that can happen, and all of that can be considered the knowns, right? And obviously the unknowns would be a bunch of indies, indie, Japanese indies. You know, you've heard Sarah Bond talk about all the Japanese independent developers they're working with. Give us a block of nothing but Japanese indies, right? None of that individually will make right people's minds or their burnt out feelings about what's going on at Microsoft these days. But all of this, I'd say 80% of this would be drip, drip, drip for a killer show where everything anybody wanted. Oh, did you see this? Oh, did you see that? All of that can work together.
Can we get because Cole
changing
Eastwood did a video a couple last week, which was amazing, and he mentioned and if Colt was in front of me, he's getting a big man hug. He said that Banjo-Kazooie was going to be announced.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh my
Right?
God!
There was rumors of Double Fine in there too, wasn't there?
There you
Double
go.
Fine is the one that's supposedly making it. I mean, listen.
I guess,
Him of
you know,
legend,
there's a lot of
bring me
logistics
home.
here, right? A lot of logistics as they can announce this, they can announce that. This is the time when all the potential ones of, hey, one day when we have an emergency and we need to break glass, this is what we'll do to get back on track. Now's that time.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, this should be the E3 of dreams for them. The
If you
one where
don't
they
get a
sell
call-
you.
If you don't get a call from Xbox marketing,
Yeah, they definitely.
something's wrong.
This is it, right? This is we sell you the E3 of dreams, sell you a huge bill of goods that you won't see for years, but realistically, this year we have some collections and remakes for you. That's it.
That's fine. Yeah.
That'd be good, right?
that would-
Because
that
that
would
tells
be-
you that you're trying to change the consumer's mind. You see what's going on out there. You know, you acknowledge that maybe the way you announce things wasn't the greatest. You know, and people maybe are concerned. And this is us going, hey, the booty got you. You'll be all right.
booty
Look at all the
got
stuff we got.
Well.
Had to do pause. Had to do that
Pause
real
for
quick.
booty.
But
Pause
you
for
see what
booty.
I'm saying, right? If they don't do that, people will get out of this show so sour, and that's not where I want to see us. So I'm hoping that kitchen sink idea, you know, make it whatever logistics you want. Maybe half of the stuff I'm mentioning doesn't show up. Maybe the other half, a bunch of stuff we didn't even know that will come. But we need to see just like a killer amount of substance. Amount of substance to show that, hey, they're still out there. They're still working on it. Plan A didn't work, but they got plan B in the mix. That's what I
love
want
it.
to see.
Yeah. Real quick, a Pixel Slapper says, "Show me the way to go home." Now, I don't know if you're as old as I am, right? That particular line, if again, I'm old, folks. That's what they were singing in Jaws, 1978, when they were drunk. If that's what you're referring to, then my God, you're as old as me, and welcome to the show. And if not, and I'm just really showing my age, then shame on me. But Crispy Bomb, close out this incredible 2-hour program with what you personally want Microsoft to do. I mean, I feel bad coming off Kay Asante's just ridiculous rant on how the show should be. I want that show. If I don't get that show, then I'm quitting. I'm quitting Xbox. I'm telling you right now. So thanks, Kay Asante. But honestly, Crispy Bomb, they've had some trouble, right? Again, Xbox isn't dead. The Xbox does have a lot of games, but what do you want to see at this show?
Had some trouble, Boom? I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. I mean, they've stumbled, and we've seen Sony stumble for the past like month and a half, 2 months. Even when Xbox stumbles, they stumble some more. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, a shift in the tide. And I go and say, like, I heard games like Fable, Hellblade 2, Avowed. Fable and Hellblade 2 and Avowed all have been announced far earlier than normally for Xbox. And if you think about it, this is where I go and say, I think it's Avowed that's going to be the surprise. And the only reason why I think that is because they've already announced Outer Worlds 2. And that's where I go and say, well, what are you guys doing? What kind of, like, you know, drugs are you guys on that you're just like, we're going for it all? We already announced Avowed like 2 years ago, and then we're going to announce freaking Outer Worlds 2 after we got it back from Private Division. what are they doing? I mean, I've been one of the people and like Obsidian's got some clout. Not only that, you can sit there and say, "Oh, we've heard enough from Hellblade 2," but you actually see, I mean, people called what they showed last time not real gameplay, which is funny because it's on Unreal Engine and they use that on movies now. A lot of people don't know that, but that's okay. Okay, they could be ready too. You know what I mean? You have Starfield and Redfall, both Bethesda titles. They just told you that they are not releasing this year. There has to be something, and it has to be something special. And I think if they said Fable, because it's Playground Games, a lot of people, Lineage, they have not made a bad game. I'm sorry. Like Playground Games has not made a bad game. You know, Naughty Dog has made a bad game. You can go back to their lineage. Okay? Think about it. All right. If it's Fable, y'all, I mean, I'm not a Fable fan, but I'm gonna tell you right now, people are gonna lose their minds. Okay? If it's Hellblade 2, guess what? They've already lost their mind, and they're gonna come back and say Xbox is actually great again. That's what they're gonna say. And they're gonna be like, oh, how did they do this? How did they push out a game in 3 years? That's what they've done their entire existence. And now all of a sudden they give a game like Starfield an extra couple years, or Gear 6 an extra couple years. These IPs that are old school or new school, but have the same mentality of like a Fallout or a Skyrim, and you're rebuilding an engine from the ground up, it feels like, because the way they're acting about it. I go and say, wait as long as you need to. And that's where I go and say, you know what? You could sit here and you could say nothing's going to happen. But if they don't do anything with this, if they don't drop something, it doesn't have to be this year, but some kind of great, ridiculous surprise, I'm just going to sit there and be like, I'm going to play Xbox, and I'm never going to talk about it again. Because we're at that point. We're at that point. Enough's enough. You can't sit here and tell me 100 million times that I'm going to wait for the next E3. Well, this is E3. June 12th is E3. Okay, people? Give us something. And you know what? The one thing Xbox always has for me personally is multiplayer. They always give me something multiplayer. You know what I'm saying? They always give me something that I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Or I'm going to try this out. Right? You know, that's where they always go. And I always like that. But you need something for the single player fan. I'm not going to lie. You need something. Give me something. I mean, Avowed, technically saying Fable. I mean, back in the day, kind of technically single player, especially in the beginning. So, you know, you have options. I mean, Hellblade 2, I think, is just like the nail in the coffin. I'm sorry. I mean, the way people acted after the trailer and everything else, like, they were mind blown. And I've watched multiple PlayStation fans, Xbox, Nintendo fans. They were like, what is this? I think Hellblade 2, if they come out with that this year, would be absolutely a freaking, you know, nail in the coffin. We're done talking about PlayStation. Okay, we're done saying they're the only single player, you know, gaming console out there. But that's if they do that. But I also say, well, if Out and Fable were talked about, you know, even the same realm as Hellblade, there's got to be something. I mean, I'm sorry, to get rid of Starfield, I just, you got to have something. And I feel like that something is going to blow all our minds. It could not even be the 3 I'm talking about. It could be something else. It could be something from Compulsion. I mean, you just don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know, like, to cancel 2 games in a row from, you know, a developer that is beloved, and then not only that, you purchased, and to basically say, okay, we're going to move them to next year sometime. They haven't given us a date or anything. Like right before this, I mean, what month? I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I feel like there's something that's going to probably blow all of our minds, including myself. And
I
what's
listen.
crazy.
I hope so, and I've been actually been banging that drum. I said, "There's no way," and Everborn, unfortunately, who couldn't be here, has been saying that there's no way that they cancel these 2 games without having a backup plan.
Yeah.
They just don't. It's but
Delayed.
listen. Well, I said canceled. I always do that. Delayed, for the love of Joe.
Well, I did too. I mean,
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we had record numbers for the new Wednesday date. We had almost 500. We missed it by like 20 something people, which is bonkers. I must confess that this is a big deal for me. This is a big deal for every man on this panel, because moving an audience is hard. And the fact that you folks came with us to this new Wednesday date is it touched me in a way that I don't want to get emotional, because, like I said, we left Mondays because it was very crowded. We were there for a couple of years and we had great success there. And we chose Wednesday because Wednesday did in fact work out for everybody on the panel. And I can't thank you enough for supporting Mrs. Boomstick and I dream to make Double Barrel Gaming one of your places that you come for your gaming news, reviews, and opinions. But let's get everyone out of here. We'll start forward with the Mag, because Mag's got to bounce. Mag, please, by all means, sell your brand, brother. Tell everyone where if they want to see the greatest, according to Twitter, parody that you produce, which is ridiculous that you didn't get a blue check mark. I say someone at them they should be fired. Tell them where they can reach out to you and see the ridiculousness and the shenanigans of the Mag, who puts on these incredible videos.
Well, thank you guys. It was a great show tonight. Now I actually got to stay right to the end of the show, which is wonderful. Chat, you guys are amazing. Panel, you guys are amazing. Semi, thanks for coming on as a guest tonight. And of course, guys, if you want to follow me, no, I do not have a YouTube channel. I refuse to do it. So I just do my stuff on Twitter, because I don't like to follow YouTube's rules, but I'm more than happy to be on YouTube with other people, and I play nice. But anyhow, on Twitter, I do not play nice. So that's where you can catch all my ridiculousness. You can you can catch me there, Middle-Aged Game Guy. You can see my link in the description, most likely below or wherever. But anyways, guys, it was an amazing show. And like I said, keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be on here. I am not going to be here next week. However, I will be with Boom on Sunday, June 12th, when we do the actual showcase. I was not invited to the live event in Toronto, so I will be on the panel with Boom as we do a live reaction to the show. And then actually later that day, I will be doing a show, a little bit of a mini reunion there with Titan Drago and Noof Nukem. We will do a post show, so I will be on the show with Boom first, and then later that night at around 5, I think Eastern, I'm going to be on with Titan Drago and Noof Nukem, and then we'll be doing our post show, comments, whatever
analysis,
else. So that should be interesting.
If you will,
yes, and at some point, I've been talking to Gaz from Game On Daily because we do very similar things, although his quality of video is obviously better. But I'm going to be doing a show with Gaz very soon. And it's just a matter of getting our scheduling down. So anyways, guys, keep an eye out, because the Mag's always going to be around. And when anything ridiculous goes down, always keep your DMs and keep your notifications on, because you're going to find me there. But anyways, guys, everybody have a great night. We will see you all on Sunday, June 12th is the next time I'll be on this panel. Everybody have a great night.
Definitely appreciate that. Matt, shout out to Matt Jimenez, who said something in very, very, very nice in the chat. Says, found out about you from ILP. Yeah, those are my brothers. He says, and have been a fan of your content ever since. Dude, thank you so much for the extremely kind words. I'm honored to know that you are digging the content. Zemi Games, you got to sell your brand, brother. Obviously, Zemi Games started out on Breakfast at Boom, moved on over to the Xbox Factor podcast, and just decided that he wanted to become a game developer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Back to School is a game that he designed with one other dude. It is amazing. You can get it on Xbox Live. You can get it on Steam. Zemi Games, sell your brand, brother. Tell them where they can check you out on your YouTube channel. Check out you on and strike up a conversation on social media. And also tell them about your game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my game, it's called Back to School. It's available on Xbox and Steam for the affordable price of $4.99. It is a educational trivia game where the player has to answer very challenging primary school questions, so first grade to fifth grade questions, with the ultimate goal of graduating elementary school.
And
Honestly,
it's hard.
it is hard. It is hard. Now there are accessibility features that are put into the game to make it easier and so on and so forth. And I guess if you really wanted to cheat, you could just Google all the answers. But what's the fun in that, right? But anyway, so that game is out, and we're still working on it. We're still looking to add future features. That's really really weird to say back to back. Anyway, we are looking to add future features. So definitely check it out if you haven't done so already. You guys can also follow me on Twitter at Zimmy Games, where I post, just a bunch of personal stuff that's happening in real life, as well as gaming content and so on and so forth. Boom, as always, man, it's fantastic show. Thank you so much for throwing me the invite.
Thank you so much for being here. Definitely appreciate it. We threw it up super, super late, and you answered the call as always. So thank you so much for that. Kay Asante, sell your brand, brother. You got an amazing Saturday morning show that everyone should tune into with Everborn Saga. You have a YouTube channel called the Gaming Circle Podcast. It is well done, well written, well produced. Tell them about where they can check that out. Subscribe to your channel. We're trying to get you to 1,000 subscribers in 2022. And where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate all the support, Boom. Thank you so much. But yes, so you can find me, K Asante, Xbox, PlayStation, TKO Asante on Xbox, PlayStation. Anywhere you can find a web browser and you want to search and find me and talk games, you find me there. You follow me, I follow you back. As has been mentioned, myself and Mr. Everborn Saga do the Gaming Circle podcast on Saturday mornings. Last week, Saturday, we actually had a great conversation with the one and only Wandering Dutch, and it was really one of the great performing episodes we've done so far, and people seem to be liking it. So I appreciate you checking it out if you haven't done so already. It seems that that Anchor has not been focused so happily with us, so the audio version has not posted yet, but I will hunt them down and make sure we get that sorted before next week. But yes, you can find me on Twitter, follow me, I follow you back, as I said, and we really appreciate all the folks that continue to like and subscribe and to join us every week on all the shows we do. And yeah, we think it's awesome, and we see a lot of familiar faces in the chat as well, so we continue to appreciate that. And we'll see you guys next week, man. Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to this gaming season finally picking up. I'm so excited for all the various takes and all the shows that are coming out and the reaction shows and stuff. I think I will be doing a reaction show with Mr. Boxenberger on his channel. He invited me on there for the Xbox show, so you guys will be able to see me there. But between now and then, there'll be lots of shows, and we're doing our best to keep everybody entertained. So thank you guys so much for continued support.
You know what? Real quick, I almost forgot before I bring Crispy in. I should have did this midway show because we had so many people here. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we are doing a special edition of Breakfast with Boom. I can't do Friday because I have to bring my truck in for service, and it's going to be an all-day affair. So with that said, we're doing a show tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. We're going to be talking about Sonic Frontier, which had an amazing trailer. We got a ton of other topics we're going to get into. And again, that's tomorrow morning, Thursday, instead of Friday this week also, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be putting that out on the socials momentarily as soon as this show is done. But Crispy Bomb, sell your brand, brother. Tell everyone where they can not only check you out on this show, where can people check you out on other show? And more importantly, what if people want to reach out to you on social media? How could they do that?
I was actually going to confirm on air whether we're on tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Nice.
Because Thursdays are very few and far between for me to have a day off. So this is like a match made in heaven, as we like to call it.
Nice.
At Chris Bomb on Twitter, Chris Bomb 28 Xbox Live. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We got Breakfast with Boom. Special time, special place. Be there. Thursday night as well, we have 8 p.m., 8:15-ish, prime time. We have the next podcast. Of course, you can find me on Retro Renegades Tuesday night, 7 p.m. and back here on Primetime Gaming, 7 p.m. Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate you're a great addition to this show. And of course, I want to say a big thank you for all the super chats that have come in. Obviously, those continue to power the big giveaways that my wife and I do. And those, the last 3 of the year, the big ones, are coming in July. I believe one is going to be in September, and there's going to be another one in December. That's the really big one during the holidays. Mrs. BoomStick and I like to give as much back as we can, and this year is going to be a big one. And I'm going to close out today's show with something that is important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated, and also it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.